Hi guys, Madcap Gamer here, or Fields of Fate, whichever one you know me from. It has been a hot minute since I made a video of Fields of Fate, but this one feels like it's an important one because we're getting to the close of Fields of Fate Future Wars, which is the sci-fi version of the Fields of Fate automatic activation rules so that you don't have to play against another player. You can't really see it in this video, but there's no one on that side of the table. This page over here, this activation sheet over here, is going to be running the Corrupted Legions on this battle report. There's a few battle reports already up on Patreon, but they are photo and summary battle reports only for Future Wars so far. I wanted to get as many playtests as possible rather than detailed, long video ones that need a bit of editing. And this will be the first one for the Corrupted Legions. As anyone that knows the Patreon, Fields of Fate at patreon.com or patreon.com Fields of Fate, whichever way around that is, you'll know that I play the Dark Elder and we play mostly 3rd edition because that's what I love. But the last time we saw these guys, I hadn't written the activation sheets and the rules for Corrupted Legions yet, so we just had them as regular Solar Legion Marines proxied in by these models. Hopefully, this is the first road test. I have not done a playtest before this video, so hopefully they do all right. It's only 500 points, which for Corrupted Legions is not a lot. They're actually probably a little bit over anyway, because these are Legions of Excess. So they have the 2 units of 5 Marines with sonic blasters, sonic weapons. So they all needed their marks for that. And the champion, the Exalted Lord, is bare bones. All right, he's got a power weapon and a pistol because that's all that I could get him, a bolt pistol. And the Predator tank is all las cannons. And yeah, that's not even what you can get for 500 points. It's slightly over. The Dark Elder are just about bang on the money with their Archon on his skyboards. 2 warriors and the Talus, which brings him into 500 points. All that said, we just had our first pause skip for the game, and that was because as I was reading out those lists, I realized I forgot the 2 units of 3 jet bikes that were needed to make that 500 points for the Dark Elder. We are going to roll to see who goes first, myself or the activation sheet. So we'll do Dark Elder on the first dice. Oh, it's a nice solid 5. And it's a 5-4 Fields of Fate as well. So we'll do the Dark Elder again. 2 and 4. Looks like first activation is going to the Corrupted Legions. So those of you that have the free rules already will have an idea of what's happening next. But for those that don't, there's army orders which go first, which I'm going to roll off. The thing about Fields of Fate is that you roll to see what your enemy is going to do, and they will follow random sort of themed things that a particular army will do. So Tyranids will have a lot more rolls that will result in lots of straight up charging against the enemy and getting into close combat, whereas someone like the Unity Alliance, or TAU, will have lots more firing results. So army orders affects the whole army, then you'll go into HQ rolls for the HQs, and then you'll go into the circuit phase, which is all that magic psychic energy stuff. Then you'll have movement, shooting, and assault. The army phase, the army roll goes for everyone, and then it goes down to individual units. So we'll do the army roll, and Warp Frenzy. So I'm going to put this on the 6 on the table. Easiest way for me to remember. And that's going to remind me that I roll a d6 for each non-vehicle unit in the army. On a roll of 6, the unit immediately moves 6 towards the nearest enemy but suffers 1 mortal wound. The Predator does not. The Lord immediately gets a free 6-inch move, but we'll lose a wound, no saves. Now, I'm always nervous about those rules. That's why we're playtesting. I played a game once, big, huge game against a giant chaos, old school fantasy army, and just kept on rolling wound results for the heroes until all the heroes were dead before anyone got into combat with them. So we may allow saves depending on how this playtest goes, but it hasn't affected anyone else, just our hero, which will be super handy for him at a pivotal point of the game. But right now, he's probably not too enthusiastic to get that result. Okay, so he has 3 wounds at the start. He is going to have 2 now. Unfortunate. But this is why we do these playtests. See if that needs adjusting. All right. Speaking of, HQ first, and it has no effect. He is under wanton distraction. So he gets no buffs, no bonuses there. The conduit phase we're going to skip because we didn't bring any magic users, psychic casters, etc. for this army because we were low on points. So I'm going to go left to right and roll for their individual unit movement now. And our Predator tank is going to stalk the living, advance towards the nearest target priority, ignoring objectives. So this is a no objectives game. This is a clear the board sort of game. And target priority in Fields of Fate Future War means an enemy unit, there's not just attack the closest enemy, attack the weakest enemy, attack the strongest enemy. In Future Wars, I've made an adjustment because obviously certain units are designed to attack certain other units. Ones with las cannons and things like that are there to destroy vehicles. Ones with lots of, shots, splinter cannons, things like that, they're going to want to attack infantry. So where it says target priority, nearest one, that unit's going to move towards or fire at a target priority, which means a unit that is most suited to the weapon it's carrying. So that's why it's moved towards the Talus, because that is what it would want to open up on if it got the chance. Now, HQ movement is going to get a 2, and we're going to move towards the nearest enemy unit, and he is just in armor, and I think, including the terrain and stuff, the bikes are going to be slightly closer than the warriors. 6. Uh-oh. Okay. Warp Surge. Move towards the nearest enemy unit at +3 movement for the first unit of warriors. So they are really going to shift 9 inches on the trot. They are going to enjoy that because I believe, it's been a while, sonic weapons are assault weapons, so it's not going to be affected by the old rapid fire rules and the like. And our last unit here is going to Lurching Advance. Advance towards the nearest objective, unless there aren't any objectives, and then the nearest enemy unit. So you've got a few results there for Corrupted Legions, and you can see most of them are moving forward. Other armies might favor standing still or getting into cover, not the Corrupted Legions. Okay, let's get to the shooting phase, and I'm going to go left to right again and see how Corrupted Legions fare this time. And it is an absolute flub. So, Blood Offering, no shooting this turn. Unit gains +1 attack in combat this turn only. So if that unit is attacked, it's going to get +1 attack in combat. Not that I would charge a tank, but hey. So, things like this, mostly the results will end up in a buff for the enemy because it's an AI sort of player. It doesn't have all your book smarts and thinking. So a lot of them are buffs, but the result of one, every now and then a real life player that you're playing against makes a wrong decision or forgets that they had a unit and that should have been firing that turn. So we've tried to replicate that as well. So we're going to go the troops here, and they've got another 6. That's 2 on the trot. So, Warp Tainted Fusillade. Fire at the closest target priority. 6s to wound. Cause +1 wound or damage. So, we are going to measure up here, and we have got 16 to that unit. 17 for the Talus. And if we're shooting through here, Okay, so it's not the best line of sight, but we certainly can see. Two of those guys can see. So, 24-inch range, assault 2, so it's not going to lose any of its firepower for having moved. So that's only 6 shots. But as we discussed, they have a disgusting buff, which is going to mean that any 6s to wounds will cause double. Yeah, ballistic skill is 4. So they are going to need 3s to hit. Man, that's plenty of hits on the old Dark Elder. And 3s to wounds, straight 4. Any 6s are double, so that is 3 wounds. And I'm going to hazard a guess that a Sonic Blaster is going to shatter my AP, which is AP 5. So it's 3 Dark Elder obliterated. Poor souls. Okay, 3 from 10. That is a panic test, I think. Sure does. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if they hightailed it? So, they are due for a panic test, so I'll put that dice there. All right, the HQ is going to get a 4, and he is going to target of spite. Fire at the closest enemy target. He's only got his bolt pistol, which will only be 12 inches, so that's not going to be anywhere. Yes, I should have given him some cool stuff, but I wanted the points on the power weapon, at least, for a combat specialist like that. All right, last unit of dudes, and they are target of spite as well. Closest enemy target is the first unit of bikes here, and they are all going to be in range. So no 6s explode this time, which is good, but 2 shots apiece, 2 and 10. I'm going to remember that unit needs a break test. Here they go. 3s to hit. And toughness of a jet bike is 4, not 3, so we're going to do 4s to wound. We got 3 there. And 3 bikes. That is unfortunate. Their saves are 4, so their saves are not ruled out. Come on, jet bikes. Oh, 1. 1 saved, and 2 jet bikes shot out of the sky immediately. I haven't had a turn yet, and I'm getting creamed. Okay, so this unit needs a morale check. They are probably out of range of the Archon, but we'll see. Oh, hoodalally. That is unfortunate. They are going to flee. And straight off the board. Excellent. That is cool. Cool. We don't need every last man when we're taking on chaos. All right. And, okay, jet bike is braver than that. Hopefully, he'll have some nice combat drugs with him when he gets closer to combat. All right. Assault phase. Nobody is in assault range, which in 3rd edition is just double the movement range. So we don't have to roll any of the assault results on this guy. Okay, there is, just double checking for chaos, there is no result that is extra inches in their charge for this army. So we can move on to Dark Elder turn. And as you can see, there's no opponent on the other side of the table, but if there was, he might be very happy with where he is right now. Except for that tank not firing, he's wiped out a unit and really ground down another one. So, I just do my turn as normal, so this might be a summary shot, but let's get into it anyway. So, as you can see by the movement, the Talus is lumbering forward. The Warriors are coming up because anything goes wrong, lots and lots of Dark Elder in combat is not the worst idea. Maybe numbers will prevail. That extra attack on the charge is pretty good. But the bikes have discovered that, you know, that HQ lost a wound already, so that's not terrible if we manage to get in combat. So let's try and do some shooting and get some of our own back. The Dark Elder that moved forward, their range is now only 12 inches, which is unfortunate because they're just out of range, but they do have the Splinter Cannon, so that's going to open up on the unit of warriors just behind the Lord up the front there. Yeah, Assault 4, Strength 4, AP 5. So, 4 shots, and we miss with all but 1. Fantastic. And we wound, though, and the Chaos Warriors, Corrupted Legion, I should say, managed to get their save. So, nothing doing there. All right, the Talus has its own version of the Splinter Cannon, which means it shoots at one dude at a time after it gets, it's really a ridiculous rule. You gotta roll to hit, and then each hit that you get, you have to roll for the closest model, and then the next closest model, and then the next closest model. But you get 2 extra shots. So, hey. So, sorry, I just, you know, had a moment there, and it's like checking that it said closest enemy model, because otherwise I'd be a lot further away from my dudes. It is ballistic skill 3, so we're only hitting on 4s. 4 hits, and we will have to do, unfortunately, the Predator first, because it's slightly closer, and it definitely does not wound with its strength 4. We'll do the first warrior, the second warrior, no, and the Lord, no. Okay, nothing doing from the Talus. All right, now for the bikes. Make me proud. I am going to do all of these smaller Splinter Cannons. Because they're on bikes, they can rapid fire even on the move. So they're all going to fire at the HQ. So they're going to hit on 3s. And a lot more hits that time. They are going to wound. Or 4s. Going to wound on 5s because it is strength. They're going to wound on 5s. It's strength 3. It's the Splinter Cannon that I'm thinking of. And he is going to get his save of 3 up. And he's going to get his save. Boo! All right, we have a blaster, though. We have a blaster in that unit of bikes. And here it goes. It's going to fry him in 1. Takes the hit. He's going to wound his strength 8. So we hit 2. And we got a 3. All right. And that is AP 2. And it is actually double his toughness. Yeah. It's double his toughness. So he is one-shotted out of here. Yay, 3rd edition rules. Chaos Lord. First casualty on the Corrupted Legions. All right. That leaves us open to charge other stuff, which is cool. So, shoe phase done. We will get to the assault phase, and I will declare a charge with the Talus, which will be 12 inches. Can he get to the tank? And he can. That was easier than I thought. I was like, oh, 2 inches closer. And I will charge the bikes into the Legion Warriors here. And hopefully we'll get a super cool bonus on the charge and be able to do some damage. Because another round of shooting I am not looking forward to. Okay. So, starting with the Talus versus the Predator. Okay. Front armor's 13 though. Talus. Okay, claws. Gets D6 attacks with its claws, +1 if charging. D6 +1 is 4 attacks. Roll to hit and win normally. No armor saves against the claw. Against the vehicle, roll only once for armor penetration, but add +1 to your armor penetration for each hit scored. Okay, so let's see how many hits we can get. Yeah, weapon skill 5, 2 hits. So we roll once and we add 2 and strength 7. 8, once for penetration. That is 8, 9, 10. So that is not enough to punch through its armor, unfortunately. Okay. That's completely unnecessary because vehicles don't attack back in this game. They just move on and keep shooting and ignore you if you don't do enough damage, which this one is going to do. We'll just skip over to the next combat. So we have a charge from the jet bikes. The jet bikes are going to have their... So, 2 attacks for charging. 1, 2, 3. 1 for a cyberite and 1, 2 for the other dude. Now, before we do anything, this is the first time in combat, so we're going to check for our combat drugs. So the big unit of 3 gets always strike first, and the other unit gets +1 strength. The one with 1 in it gets +1 strength. So he'll stay over there. And big unit of 3 against the warriors. They need 4s, because they're equally good in combat. And they have strength 4, so they only need 4s. Which is only 1. All right, we'll check the other guy, and he does not hit at all. And the Corrupted Legion warriors pass their armor save, unfortunately. So now we got to get punched back by a bunch of very angry dudes. Not where you want to be. Okay, so they didn't bring any close combat weapons. It's all sonic blasters, so it's 5 attacks and +1 for the champ, the Sarge. And they're going to be hitting on 4s. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's all hits. And we're going to be wounding on 4s. See how many they can drag out of the sky. That is 3 potentially. And we are going to do our save, which is 4 up, and make all of them. Wow. So that is a drawn combat. Maybe the best I could hope for in that particular situation. We're going to move right along to round 2. All right. Corrupted Legions going again, this time without their HQ. Let's see if they can pull it back together. They've done some damage. We have done, I wouldn't say an equal number of damage, but anyway, here's the army orders for round 2. We have 5 this time, and that is Blood Oaths. All units ignore wounds on a 6+, so they got a 6 up, what they used to call that? Shrug. 6 up shrug. Okay. HQ does not get to roll, so we'll go straight over to the movement phase and start with the Predator tank. He gets a 5 and Stalk the Living, advance towards the nearest target priority, ignoring objectives. So that's his nearest target priority, so he's just going to get out of combat because advance is not charged. You want to get as close as you can, but outside of that 1-inch range. Doesn't have that +1 attack anymore, which didn't really do anything. So, that Talus is looking down the barrel of lots of Laskans. Let's hope he doesn't get the same result. Now, movement. That unit's locked in combat, so they don't need to roll in the movement chart. This unit over here, though, does, and they get a 2, which is move towards the nearest enemy unit, which is those bikes as well. No bonuses, just the 6-inch move. Here they come. And shooting phase. So let's hope the tank can make up for lost time, and it's failed to shoot again. Now, if anyone that's seen the Patreon page knows that that tank does not like shooting for some reason. All right. But also these results, sometimes you get shot at for ages while another player, works out range and everything like that, and then they miss anyway. So it also covers missed results. Shooting for this unit here is target of spite. Fire at the closest target priority. So it's the closest unit they can actually target, and they can't target that unit here. I think we're going to count this as cover and take our shots across there. Okay. Obviously this guy's hidden behind a much larger crate that will block line of sight, as Dark Elder Archons are wont to do. 1, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, here come the shots. They are only 3 missed. And here they come. They only need 3s. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Could be another break test. Let's see the cover save. Across that barrel. Say hard cover? No, 5 ups. Oh, it's a good roll though. Only 1 down. That is Gonna save them a break test. They get really good results when it comes to running from break tests. All right, which brings us to combat, because our tank has failed to fire again, unfortunately. So we have combat against the bikes and the warriors, the regular warriors. Initiative of 6. So the bikes are definitely going to go first, but they're going to lose all those lovely, lovely bonus attacks. So 4 and 5 from the side right and 6 from the other side right. So here we go. Let's hit some bad guys. 4s, only 2. Sorry, one of them was +1 strength, but I'll say that guy missed. And here we go. 4s. 1 goes through, and Chaos Legion have 3-up save, but they fail it. But if they get a 6, they get to shrug it. And they do. Oh my god. All right. Not meant to win this game. Poor Dark Elder dudes. All right, so they're down to 1 attack apiece as well. Plus they got their champ. All right. Chaos Legion. Are they going to send me packing? Not with a roll like that. That is abysmal. 1 goes through, doesn't even wound, and we have a locked combat for the 2nd turn in a row. All right, that was a real godsend of a round for the Dark Elder. Let's see if we can't capitalize on it. So we're going to go movement, and we are going to skim over. We won't get to the rear, but we'll get to the side armor there. These guys rather enjoyed those barrels being cover. So let's get up and shoot over. And our Skyboard Arkan's finally going to do some work. Get up there and ruin someone's day. So that was the Corrupted Legion's turn. Now the important thing to note, and it's in the rules when you read it, is that when they get results, they last until you roll on this table again. So that means the Corrupted Legion still have their 6-up shrug. Unfortunate. Okay, the Talus is going to fire. Not that it's going to do anything. Actually, no, it's not going to actually do anything. So it's not going to fire. The Warriors are going to fire across at these Sonic Marines here. They are going to get 1 hit with the Splinter Cannon. They are going to get 1 wound with the Splinter Cannon. They are going to fail their save. No, they're not. Okay. Perchance to dream. I suppose he's got a Splinter Rifle. So the Hellglaive counts as a Splinter Rifle. Or it counts? No, it counts as a Splinter Rifle. Or a weapon in close combat. So I'm not going to use that. Because things were a little bit less generous in 3rd edition. So I'm going to leave that for the charge. Okay, now, assault phase, we're going to charge in double movement with the Talus and the Arkan. And the Talus is going to strike first once again, because we want that Predator gone, and now we're on the side armor, which is only 12, so hopefully we'll be able to do something with that. D6 +1 attacks, 5 attacks this time, and we're hitting on. That moved 6, so 3s, no, 4s is close combat hits. Yeah, it moved, but less than 6 inches, so it's 4s. And we're only going to get 2, so that is +2 to our penetration result, which is 2, so 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we fail to penetrate yet again. Come on, Talus. Help me out here. Help me understand why I brought you to this game. The bikes may as well go next because we know what's happening with them. And I've rolled it a few times. 4s to hit. This is the unit that doesn't have the +1 strength, but always strike first. We get 1 to go through. They do fail the armor save. Will they fail the shrug? They do not fail the shrug again. I'm really upset that I rolled that 5 on the result table now. As you can see, Marine Legion sort of armies have some results that keep them around longer than you would like. All right, +1 strength guy. Whereas Other armies like humans and Nids might have more units that appear out of nowhere and regenerate faster. Okay, we have one that's gone through. Again, let's see about that save, which has failed. Is he going to get the shrug? He is not going to get the shrug this time. So after all of that, we have taken down one Corrupted Legion dude, and we are going to roll Corrupted Legion. He's going to hit on 4s. He's going to wound on 4s. And they are going to take 2 saves. Come on, guys. 4s. No, they're going to, of course, take 1 wound themselves on the bikes, which means it's a drawn combat yet again. All right, maybe the Archon will not suffer the same indignity. Oh, the indignity. Okay, he has 3 attacks, 4 on the charge, +1 strength on the charge because of his Hellglaive. 2-handed, so no extra close combat weapon. Okay, 4 attacks. He has got a monster weapon skill because he's an Archon of the Dark Elder, not the Drukhari, making weapon skill 6. So he's going to hit on 3s and miss 2 of them. And he is going to not wound on 2s. Okay, fantastic. He's going to be punched back by a lot of angry Marines now. They're going to need 4s though. Only got 3. And they are going to need 3s because he's only toughness 3, I believe. Sure is. Sure is. 2 wounds. He has his shadow field. So, on a 2-up. On a 2-up. He's fine. He's laughing. He's going to outlast. Okay, round 3. And Chaos Legions. Oh, Corrupted Legions. Corrupted Legions. Turn 3. All right. Army orders is 5 again. They are going to get their 6-up shrug for a second time. That is upsetting my day. All right, let's do the tank movement. Is advance towards the nearest objective, if not nearest enemy. And as we talked about earlier, advance outside of 1 inch. So he's actually going to move away for that combat. Those guys are in combat. These guys are in combat. No more movement rolls. Only 1 shooting roll, which is for the tank, and let's see if it's another 1. It's a 2 this time, at least. So, that is area suppression. Fire at the closest enemy unit, which is the Talus, and his number may, in fact, be up, as this guy has 4 last cannons, rolling 3s. 3 whopping last cannon hits against a Talus. It's going to be strength 9 against toughness. Toughness 7. 9 against 7. Let's go. 2s, 2 wound. All of them wounds. It is on an AP of 2. I do not think the Talus has a save of 2. It does not. That is 3 wounds. Count them. And the Talus has exactly 3 wounds. Down the Talus goes. Okay, so that is gone. We have initiative order for the fights. No one's got better initiative than an Archon. 3 attacks. On 3s. On 5s now. The Hellglaive only works in the first turn. I told you I don't normally bring an Archon with a Hellglaive, but it's the model that I have. All right, it goes through and it is a power weapon. So, no save, but they do have the 6-up shrug. And 1 goes down to the Archon. If he can survive, we at least get a morale check here. This is what we need. All right. 4s to hit. No hits from the Corrupted Legion at all in this combat, which means he wins by 1. Leadership 9. No, wait a sec. They've got Sergeant still. They're leadership 10. So, rolling under 9. Oh, boxcars. Uh-oh. They are going to leg it. They're going to get 8 inches, which is not terrible. Okay. Doesn't say anything about a third dice for pursuit. So, can we get 8 or higher? Come on, Arkin. And it's only a 6. So, he chases after. We have some jet bikes that are really trying their best now. 2 jet bikes from the initial unit that strike first. They need 4s, only 2. Oh, we got 2 wounds finally. Chaos. Saves, 2 failed saves. I don't expect to get 2 6s for the shrug. I get 1 though. 1 goes down, and the other Cyberite with the +1 strength hits once, does wound, does fail the save again. Can they get the shrug? They cannot. They down by 2. This is unexpected. 2 fighting back. 1's the Exalted Champ. That is 1 hit only. And no wounds. They are down by 2. Still leadership 10, but they need that 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. They are okay. On the money. All right. This is a bit of a turnaround phase. Dark Elder. Coming back winners. And that was their phase. So we lost the Talus, but it's not all bad. If we can just get rid of that unit of Marines, we can get the blaster and blow up that tank. Okay. It's going to be summaries from here on in, I believe. Because these guys are going to move up. He is going to charge. They're going to auto rally in 40k, I believe. And these guys are going to charge double their move. I keep vacillating between 4th, 5th, 6th editions of this game. Remember, it's just double move. All right. So, charges go first. The Archon is going to finish the job on 4s. No, on 3s. Sorry, it's the Archon. And 4s. 2 down. They do have their shrug still, but they do not make it this time. They're going to punch back with 3. They're going to hit with 2. They are going to wound with 1, and the Archon is going to make his save. There's another break on this side. They are cool this time. They are not phased. That was only a feigned retreat. Over here, the Dark Elder, Cyberite, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, 6 attacks is close enough to the front rank. And they are going to hit on 4s, which they all do. They're going to wound on 5s. They shouldn't actually be going first. That bike should be going. The bike should be going first because they have always strike first, but it doesn't really matter. The Marines make their save. All right, the 2 bikes that go first all miss, and the 1 bike with the extra strength does get a hit, does get a wound. Chaos is going to make their save. They're going to punch back. You're going to punch back at the smaller dudes that just charged, because maybe they can cause some wounds and cause a panic. And they can cause 0 wounds. So that combat goes nowhere once again. All right, we will have 1 more round and see how it goes from there. Everyone seems to be in combat. Army orders. Come on. That was a 5 again, but we're not going to do that. 6 this time, which is, on a roll of 6, may move towards the closest enemy target. The tank, no, those guys are already in combat, so they don't need that roll. So we just have movement for the tank, which is going to move towards the nearest enemy unit with +3 movement. Definitely doesn't need that. It's going to swivel around like so. And we're going to get into combat. The this is the strike first bikes. Sorry, my brain stopped working for a second there. That's 1 hit, 1 wound, and 1 save from the Chaos dudes. The other bike with +1 strength is 1 hit, 1 wound, and the Chaos This one's save. It's all getting very fun on the chaos side. Okay. Just got to remind myself, warriors are initiative 5, so they're still going before, but with none of their extra attacks. So we can get maybe 4. We should be moving them up, but quick game's a good game. No wounds. All right, chaos. Not frustrated enough. 1 wound, and the warriors save it with a 5. Arkan, come on, buddy. 3 attacks now. 2 go through. Only 5s this time for success. None. Chaos Warrior and Champion. 1 hit and 1 wound. And failed armor save. He takes a wound. Ouch. All right. Arkan goes down a wound. That's not a model loss, so it's... All right, this could be the last turn, because if they can't make any sort of move with the bikes and get out of there, then there's not much chance of them getting rid of a tank by turn 5 or 6. So we might have to call it. Let's do the Dark Elder turn. Obviously, nothing needs to move. So we have the bikes that strike first against those warriors. We've got 2 hits this time. We have 1 wound, and Chaos Save does go through, and they don't have a shrug this time. They had the 6 result, so 1 goes down. And the other bike with the extra strength misses both. The Dark Elder Warriors are going to get 2 hits. They're going to get the 5 they need. They are. We're going to miss our... We are! Okay. Look at that. I just said we'd call it if the combat didn't resolve, and there it is. That's the last warrior down. Now, the Arkan, can he save face? His warriors and his bikes are doing better than he is. There is 2 hits. We need those 5s. No wounds. Exalted Champ and Warrior fighting back. They are no wounds also. Okay, that combat goes nowhere, which means it's over to Corrupted Legions again for turn 5. Definitely last one. All right, and they are result 5. They're getting their shrug back. I swear there are other results on this chart. They just don't want to roll them this turn. All right, so we'll start with the movement for the tank. It is going to lurching advance, nearest objective, or what does it say? Nearest objective. If none, nearest enemy. Okay, so he's not going anywhere because he's already as close as he can get to those warriors. Just checking that it didn't say nearest target priority, because that would be the bikes. The other guys don't need any sort of movement roll or shooting roll because they're in combat. So we're going to do the shooting roll for the tank. He's not going to get a 1 again. He's going to get a target of spite fire at the closest target priority. So the tank is definitely going to target the bikes that have the 1 blaster that can actually take it out. And it's going to fire straight over the heads of those Dark Elder Warriors and take out the 2 bikes from that blaster squad that remain. It's going to get 3s to hit. It's going to need 2s. They're going to get no save because they haven't moved, and they are wiped. There is no chance for the Dark Elder to remove that tank. Is it going to be enough for the Warriors, though, to claim victory? Let's have a look. We've got the combat phase. The Arkan's going to go first. He's got 3 hits. He's got 2 5s, and it's a power weapon. Yeah, they are out. Those warriors go down before they get a chance to fight back. And this might just be the Dark Elder's game. We are going to call it there because there isn't a way for us to do much damage to the Predator. But likewise, before the end of turn 5, turn 6, whichever the random finish is, he's not going to kill enough units or enough points of units. So that is only worth like 130 5 points. That warrior squad's worth about that. That squad's half points, but still. And we've still got the Archon on the board, which is like another 100 points. So the Dark Elder have killed more points than the Chaos Legion, but the Corrupted Legion. But I think I'd be happy to call that a draw for that game. So there it is. That is Corrupted Legions. I don't know. Hopefully this video will come out soon, before the actual release. Obviously in later editions of the game where there's, you know, heroes and whatnot, and units have much more wounds than they used to in 3rd edition, then that Warp Frenzy, where they get their free move, but -1 wound, just doesn't seem quite chaosy enough. So maybe YouTubers will give comments on that before the rules come out. But as you can see, the game is designed to be random, each time you play it, so you can play it over and over again. I can re-rack this game and play again, and the Chaos Legion will do, the Corrupted Legion will do something completely different next game. They might be more scary in their firepower, depending on the results they get. But hopefully we've noticed the activation sheet, the AS player, is quite challenging with all their buffs and bonuses that they get and the random things that they're doing. And the results are sort of tailored to what you would expect the army to do. Obviously there's some results where, a unit doesn't charge when you know that they should, or it doesn't shoot when you know that they should, but that's also capturing, like, your opponent failing to hit anything on his shooting, or failing to get that charge roll as well. So hopefully it captures the back and forth. And yeah, this is the first video with Future Wars. All the other ones previous were fantasy, were Fields of Fate fantasy. So welcome to Future Wars, coming soon.